Elko has coached at Notre Dame. He's also coached at Texas A&M. Now, of course, he is the head coach here at Duke University. I think it's just coming full circle for Mike Elko. It's coming full circle for this program. Tomorrow, obviously, a really, really, really big day in terms of Duke football.
Okay, Trayvon Martin.
Trayvon Miles.
Trayvon Miles. We're a little shaken up here. We had to walk outside the Raleigh Eyewitness News Center. As you heard a few minutes ago, the fire alarm went off inside the building, so we are evacuating for safety. Everything seems to be okay, but we're not going to go back inside until that alarm goes off.
Yeah, we share our building with residences. There's also restaurants near us, so actually this does go off every now and again. Doesn't always happen when we are in the middle of a live broadcast, as it did. I jumped when it went off earlier. It's very, very loud. So we'll be out here just for the time being. The fire department is checking things out just to make sure everything's okay. And once they give us the all clear, we're going to head back inside. But we're going to continue with our 5 o'clock newscast.
It is alarming for sure, but we will move on with the news. Right now at 5, the clock ticking on what likely will be a government shutdown. Funding expected to expire by the end of the day tomorrow. The U.S. House failed to advance its short-term measure to fund the government through October 31st. The bill included border provisions and steep spending cuts, but hard-right Republicans voted to sink the package. The Senate is now working on its own bipartisan plan to continue funding at current levels. That plan headed for votes this weekend.
And with the government shutdown looming, members of Fayetteville's military community are worried about how it would impact people in the Sandhills. Monique John spoke to veterans about how they have been impacted by shutdowns in the past and their frustrations with lawmakers.
The impact of this potential shutdown could be staggering. According to the White House, about 3.5 million federal workers nationwide, 2 million of them in the military, would have to work without pay. Almost another million federal workers would be furloughed if the shutdown happens.
All because you got 1 or 2 people up there who want to play hard line and play hardball and mess with the people's livelihood, all because of 1 or 2 agendas.
Veterans I spoke with from the VFW post 6018 had strong words for lawmakers rejecting House Speaker Kevin McCarthy's bill to keep the government open. That's in part because they acknowledge that North Carolina's military community specifically would take a major blow if this shutdown happens. Almost 96,000 service members are at risk of going without pay if the government shuts down Sunday. Veteran Jack Pine says he made it through a past shutdown with his head above water, but he watched others suffer.
For some soldiers, it was a real impact. They got behind on their bills. They was indebted. So when the government shut down, it really affects people that's associated with the government.
Veterans say lawmakers need to think about who really pays the price when Congress is divided.
Congressmen still getting their check. It's not going to affect them, but it affects us outside, as in military-wise.
Monique John, ABC11 Eyewitness News.
Monique, thank you. We're also following this new at 5, a tragedy out of Wilson County. The sheriff's office investigating the death of a 5-month-old child there. Deputies responding to a welfare call on Little Rock Church Road just after 9 last night. That's where they found that infant unresponsive, and the child later died. The sheriff's office treating the death as a homicide, though right now it's not clear how the child died.
And this is new at 5. UNC police are investigating multiple thefts of electric scooters on campus. Police say the thefts happened outside Carmichael, Craig, Morrison, and Joyner residence halls, as well as Granville Tower South, Phillips Hall, and Graham Memorial Hall. They say the thefts happened between September the 14th and 25th and could be related. UNC police telling students to use a lock to secure your scooter whenever possible.
Also now at 5, a big day for a Durham program aimed at keeping kids safe and off the streets and reducing youth gun violence. We're talking about Sidekicks Academy. We've highlighted Sidekicks before. It uses Taekwondo to promote physical activity while teaching the values of respect, leadership, and social justice. This afternoon, South Korean government officials and the country's national Taekwondo team visited Sidekicks at R.N. Harris Elementary School, getting an up-close look at the program and meeting with students there.
Our goal is to teach our youth through Taekwondo activities the true proper behavior and actions and principles that will lead them to become a leader in our community.
Tomorrow, the South Koreans will be joined by state leaders, including Governor Cooper, at the 2023 Global Taekwondo Open at Smithfield Selma High School.
And now at 5, the tributes pouring in to the late Senator Dianne Feinstein, who died at the age of 90. The California Democrat was the longest-serving female senator in U.S. history. She was also the oldest member at the time of her death. Some of her most consequential work included the 1994 federal assault weapons ban and the 2014 CIA torture report. And today, her Senate chair was draped in black with flowers put on it, while flags across D.C. were lowered to half-staff. And this honor today from the House floor.
Please rise for a moment of silence in remembrance of the late Honorable Senator Dianne Feinstein.
Representatives for Feinstein say that she passed away at home in Washington, D.C. last night. She was in the Senate just yesterday when she cast her final vote.
North Carolina senators also paying their respects. Senator Tom Tillis releasing a statement saying, in part, Senator Feinstein was one of the most effective legislators in recent memory because of her willingness to work across the aisle in good faith in order to solve complex problems. It was an honor to serve with her. And Senator Ted Budd also reacting today, reflecting on Senator Feinstein, saying, while we disagreed politically, she was a trailblazer in the Senate, and we respect her decades of service to this institution. We'll be right back.
Happening now, the top stories we're following tonight. A Johnson County deputy has been fired after he fired his service weapon after his patrol car was hit by a stolen vehicle. A sheriff says Christopher Adcock violated policies and procedures, and his use of force was unnecessary in that situation. Also, a last-ditch plan to keep the government temporarily open has collapsed. Today's failed vote in the House makes it. Joining me now with a little look at the weather and the weekend forecast, Robert, good afternoon.
Good to see you, Josh. You know, we're here on Fayetteville Street, and it really is a beautiful day. We've got a lot of clouds lingering over our region right now, but there's more sunshine to the west. More of those clouds are going to depart. So if you're going to Carter Finley tonight to see the Cardinals play against the Wolfpack, it's going to be a really nice night. Temperature starting off in the mid-70s and then going down into the mid-60s by the time the game is over. Clouds are going to linger for a few more hours, and then they will depart from west to east. I think we're going to have a gorgeous sunset tonight, especially for areas west of the Triangle. Sunset is at about 7 o'clock. As we go through the rest of the week, it gets brighter and it gets warmer from here. Here's your first alert 7-day forecast for tomorrow. A mixture of sun and clouds, so a few clouds passing throughout the day. The high 78 degrees. And then that's how we end September. But for October, we started even better, even brighter. Plenty of sunshine, nice and comfortable, low humidity. I mean, it's picture perfect. The high 80 degrees. We do it all over again on Monday. Monday, really wall-to-wall sunshine, a pleasant day with a high of 81. And then on Tuesday, it's a carbon copy of a day with a high of 80 degrees, with overnight low temperatures in the mid to upper 50s. Stays nice and pleasant on Wednesday, 81 degrees. Thursday, more clouds are creeping in as the system starts to come closer to us. So partly cloudy on Thursday, 80. And then by Friday, it's mostly cloudy, 79 degrees with a slight chance of a shower, mainly later in the day. But if you're headed to the game tomorrow, whether it's for NCCU, so for the Central game, or if you're headed to see Notre Dame against Duke, beautiful weather in store for tomorrow. Josh, back to you.
Robert, I think you meant to see Duke versus Notre Dame. I think you got the teams a little bit misplaced, but well, it's okay. You dial up a nice forecast, all good. All right, Robert Johnson, thank you. Coming up all new at 5 o'clock, the impact of the government shutdown looming. Federal workers at risk of not getting a paycheck, but there may be some options if you need money. The troubleshooter is laying it all out for us tonight.
Okay, fire alarm over. We are back in studio and the news rolls on. Now at 5, experts are calling it the child care cliff, and we could be on the verge of falling off as a country.
Federal funding from the American Rescue Plan passed in March 2021 is now set to expire. It provided more than $24 billion to daycare centers across the country, and now centers here at home